Could a California landlord provide a mini refrigerator and satisfy the habitability standards under Civil Code Section 1941.1? Hi, my name is Rob Wells. I'm the Landlord Warrior on TikTok and YouTube. Please feel free to like, share, and subscribe to our videos. Now, I saw this comment over here. Landlord, this person said, hey, would providing a refrigerator, a mini fridge, so to speak, qualify and call it a day? Well, let's take a look at the Civil Code section, for example. Okay, so under the new Civil Code section 1941.1 subdivision A 11, that's where we start to talk about the refrigerator deal. Okay, and here's what the code says. All right, just so you have a context of it. Except as provided under subdivision B and subparagraph B, a refrigerator that is maintained in good working order and capable of storing food. A refrigerator that is subject to recall by the manufacturer or a public entity is not capable of storing or capable of safely storing food. Okay, that's what it reads. Okay, so I know some of my landlords, I knew I was going to get this question, and I know a lot of others are probably having that. Well, Rob, it just says, you have to have a refrigerator that is maintained in good working order and capable of storing food. Wouldn't one of those mini fridges that I have in my dorm, when I was a kid, I don't know what size they are, that would satisfy the requirement, right? Well, yeah, I could see where you're coming from, landlord, but here's the deal. Okay, these rules are basically construed to be like protective of tenants. Okay, and I'll tell you this right now: if you told me you had a dorm-sized refrigerator in your single-family home, for example, I'm just giving you the context of that, and you told me, hey, Rob, it's a working refrigerator in good working order and it can safely store food, I'm going to go, yes, but you're probably going to be on the losing end of this stick in court, okay? And the reason why is, I think, because although it does say that in the code, the Civil Code basically for habitability, it's going to be argued that no reasonable family would be expected to, keep a family's worth of items in a small little mini fridge, okay? That being said, I could see that there could be a dispute in court where, hey, you get a regular size fridge or whatever. I know there's various sizes, right? But you get a decent sized refrigerator in there, but the tenant goes like, you should have put the extra super large one in there. So do we fall into a issue with habitability or not? And I think really what's going to end up happening in court is until it gets litigated and it goes to the Court of Appeals somewhere, it's going to be like a reasonableness standard. Okay, little small mini fridge for a regular size home probably ain't gonna pass the test, but if it's like an efficiency size refrigerator for like a small ADU basically, and you get a 30-inch fridge and the tenant argues you should have gotten a 36-inch fridge or whatever, that's the standard size or whatever, but given the circumstances, it's like a 500 square foot ADU studio deal and the appliances were kind of like specially made for the unit, I think that would pass muster. Okay, it's just going to be like a common sense type of deal, but there are going to be people that are going to try to like skirt the law. Okay, and my question to you as a landlord would be, and this is what, if you came to me with that question, to my office, basically, I'd tell you, how much money do you want to spend with the lawyers and how long you want to be in court for? Because, yes, I know this is what the law says, but it's going to be fleshed out. There could, the intent of this law is to basically provide that appliance. Okay, and yes, we can go back and forth. Does the fridge definition, what you have to have is safely storing fruit, so it doesn't mean like I got to get a refrigerator with a computer screen in it and it sends me ads, or one with a water dispenser or ice dispenser in it. Doesn't say that I got to provide you that. Okay, but I could see people getting cute with the refrigerator, like you get the little small like 20 cubic foot refrigerator, and that you would put like in a dorm room or something like that, and I don't think that's gonna pass muster. Okay, those are about 50 cents of it, but you do what you got to do for you, and it's how much you want to spend in court, basically arguing over how big the fridge is or not. I would probably just get a refrigerator that would fit in the spot. You don't have to get the most expensive one. You can get a used refrigerator, that type of deal. Okay, I would get a standard size fridge for the area that you're trying to get in. And I know, Rob, there's no such thing as a standard size fridge. I know that, but get something in there that's decent size that was kind of designed for the spot. Would probably be the safest bet to do, so to speak. And I know there's a lot of landlords in here that probably deal with a bunch of units and so forth. I think any refrigerator that was designed for household use, that type of deal, is going to pass muster. Okay, so but you don't have to get the fancy one, the $3,000 one that does controls your temperature and stuff in your house. Okay, you don't need to get that. Okay, but you want to be above the law. If not, if you want to try to skirt this, I get it, that's cool, but you're going to be spending a lot of money with attorneys and so forth, and arguing with in court. So if you want to do that too. So landlords, if you are facing a tenant situation such as non-payment of rent, or you're having an issue about whether or not your fridge is going to be sufficient or whatnot, and you're in the Northern California area, feel free to reach out. Go to my profile. You can go to our website and book a free case review. Be a couple of questions that will be asked to see if we're a good fit or not. Put your comments, questions down below. Until next time, folks, I'll talk to you then. Thanks.